Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of Barbell Therapy. I am taking things to the couch, which I feel like makes sense for just like what this podcast is about. And I'm using this fancy little microphone that I just got. So I'm really hoping that I don't have to record this twice, I will say. Also, usually I have like some sort of like thing, guide, if you will, how I want these episodes to go. But today I just feel like I want to talk off the cuff and I want to just like talk about some things I think are important and they're really directly related to fitness, but then also that like mental piece behind what it is that I'm talking about. So for today's episode, I want to go through like when you're on vacation and how you can enjoy your vacation, but still be able to achieve your goals, and that like societal pressure that makes you feel like you need to be a certain way on vacation that then doesn't necessarily align with the goals that you have, right? So we talked about this on a couple episodes ago, but we talked about water and consistency and movement being really important. And that doesn't just go away just because you're on the beach. In fact, when you're out in the sun, you definitely want to be increasing your water intake. But I feel like there is this stigma of like having a water bottle, because it's either you have a water bottle because you're a fitness person, or you have like a Stanley or something, and then people are like, you know, something against like Stanleys because they're expensive. And I think Stanleys are expensive. Like this sucker was $20 off of Amazon, and she is beat up because I'm dumb and I'm constantly dropping my water bottle when I'm like getting in the car or something, or like I work at a weight room, and so I've literally hit it with dumbbells before. Like, you know, I just don't feel like I want to invest in an expensive water bottle, because the dents and stuff that it will have will make me sadder than it does when it's only $20. But anyway, I would say like buying gallon jugs at the grocery store for like $1.20 or whatever they are, and having those on hand so you know how much water you're drinking, and you can just have that gallon jug and refill your water bottle and make it easier. And yeah, you're going to have to pee a lot, but like that's okay. But especially if you're in the sun and drinking, like water is incredibly important. And that pressure of feeling like you shouldn't be focusing on your water on vacation, like that's the shit we got to throw out the window, right? And there's a lot more, but that is just one factor. And then the other thing is all about food. I think that this is probably the biggest piece when it comes to vacation. Also exercise, but I can get to that. Food is probably like the biggest elephant in the room, because I remember going out to dinner with some friends, and like this one particular friend, she's very thin. She's always been that way. She has a great body. She can basically eat whatever she wants and she looks great. And that's lovely for that person. But I remember like kind of starting to dabble in fitness and just working out and stuff like that. And we would go out to restaurants, and like, I'm really picky about my french fries. Like, I am not someone that's like, I need french fries at every restaurant. I will look up a picture of those french fries before I order them, because I'm so picky about them. Like, and so if I'm not going to like them, then what is the point of ordering them in the first place? So I oftentimes get a side salad instead of like french fries or something, because genuinely speaking, I love me some balsamic, and I rather have fat from balsamic vinegar than french fries, because I typically like balsamic vinaigrette on my salads better than I like the french fries at a restaurant. Call me crazy, but like that's just me. But I remember going out to dinner, and like she would always make a comment about me ordering a salad instead of french fries. And it always made me feel like judged. But I am just this person that like, when I feel judged, I have like two sides of me. One part of me, I guess, feels really emotional about it, but the other part of me is like, but I know that there's nothing wrong with this. So like I do it anyway, and then I just get emotional about it later. And that happens in a lot of things in my life, but particularly when it comes to food, I feel like there's constantly comments being made towards you when you are trying to achieve some sort of weight loss goal, and you're like being diligent about what choices you're making when it comes to food, especially on things like vacations, family events, going out to dinner, like all those different things. I feel like people are constantly making comments. And so it feels really uncomfortable to kind of go against the grain and against the norm and like do the things that you want to do that will help you achieve your goals. So when it comes to vacations, like that doesn't go out the window, right? Like just because you're on a vacation doesn't mean your calories don't matter. Just because you're on vacation doesn't mean that your body is just like, oh, I'm going to take a break from gaining weight and having gut issues so that you can enjoy yourself, my dear. It don't care, right? Like it does not care that you are at the beach versus you being in your own home. And so when you go on these vacations and you're just like throw all of it out the window and you're like, I'm just going to eat whatever. Yeah, of course you're going to come home feeling like crap because not only are you just eating whatever, but your body is not necessarily used to that, especially if you've been on this journey for a while. And then you're going to feel really sluggish and tired and like your gut's going to be like kind of all messy and like, yeah, you're going to be in the bathroom. Like these things are going to happen and you're in the driver's seat of that though. You have the ability to have the discipline to not actually have that happen to you. And I think this is important because the societal pressure that comes with like being on vacation and just knowing like, oh, well, I'm on vacation and therefore I don't need to do X, Y, and Z, or I shouldn't do X, Y, and Z, or people are going to judge me or whatever it is. Like that is where that kind of comes from. And it's all these learned behaviors that we've had for so many years where we're like, oh, I'm having a birthday party. That means I should have a birthday cake, a slice of birthday cake. And like, that's a learned behavior. We grew up going to birthday parties and having birthday cake as a celebration. Hey, Barbell Therapy fam, I am interrupting this podcast because I want to make sure I let you know that I have roster spots open for my one-on-one coaching. This program is 110% customized specifically to you. I make a brand new workout. I do not copy and paste from any of my other clients. I work with you individually on your individual nutrition needs from where you started to where we want to go. And I make sure that you have a plan in place that will actually get you results and be easy and sustainable for you to achieve. We're going to look at your individual body and how your body responds to things. Honestly, the amount of support that you're going to get inside of this program is going to be the game changer. From not feeling like yourself and needing personal journal prompts, routine audits, making sure that your day is structured in a way that you don't feel like you're flailing and you just have all these tasks you need to complete and you don't know when and why to complete them. I will go through every single step of the way with you to make sure that you not only have a plan that you can actually complete, but you know when and where to complete that plan so you don't feel like you're just adrift in the day trying to meet these metrics. We are going to be best friends throughout this, and I'm telling you, it is worth it. Hop on a call with me and let's do a personalized fat loss evaluation for you where I will give you the starting guide that we would be using inside of my program, calories, training days, cardio days, etc. I will give you that guide to get started and we can see if you're a fit for the program. And if you're not, at least you have a basic plan that you can implement to actually hit your results. So let's get started by setting up that call, and I can't wait to meet you. But if you have your own kids or, you think back to your life, if you lived a life where your birthday party was you got chocolate covered pretzels as a celebration, like that would be all the rage. I know that I don't like cake, so my birthday party celebration was a cookie, and I loved my cookie. And that to me, like that means it's my birthday when I get a good chocolate chip cookie. My mom used to get me these like sheet cookie cakes, and like that's what we would have at my birthday party. I mean, it's the same concept as a cake, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's all learned behaviors and we're learning them from our past, like going out to vacations and just pigging out on whatever and watching our mom and dad and then our older brothers and sisters and, our friends, they go on vacations and What do they do when they sit on the beach? They have a cooler and they're chugging down, soda and drinks, and like this is all learned behavior. So of course you're going to associate sitting on the beach with chugging whatever, because that's what you've seen all of your life. I mean, not I, because my mother didn't drink, which maybe is like kind of where a lot of my like, oh, I don't feel like I need to do that comes from. But yeah, like I mean, if that has been what you've seen done, of course you're going to associate those things with what you need to be doing. And so it is up to you to be in the driver's seat to acknowledge that and be like, oh, I can change that. I don't need to do that. Just because something comes free from the hotel does not mean I need to go and fill my plate with everything that's free and stuff my face, right? Just because I'm on the beach doesn't mean I need to be drinking alcohol the entire time on the beach. Like I can have one or two drinks and enjoy myself, but also be focusing on water. And just because you're on vacation doesn't mean that you shouldn't be eating your fruits and veggies, your whole grains, and all of your protein. Like bringing protein shakes and drinking a protein shake, there's nothing wrong with that. But so many people position it as like something bad somehow or make fun of you. And chances are it's because those people would love to be in your position, but they're simply not, right? And chances are the people that are saying something are people that maybe don't understand you or your why. Because I do feel like years and years of exposing myself to the same types of people, or, the people that I have in my life that I've chosen to keep in my life, like those people know, okay, yeah, Kate's going to go on vacation and she's probably going to have a protein shake, but she's not going to make that our problem. Like she's just going to make sure she has protein in the fridge and she's going to make sure she has one every day. And like nowadays it's bananas and making sure I have some sort of whole grain bread, because I know that if I'm going out to dinner multiple times, I'm probably not going to have a lot of high quality fiber, right? So whenever I can have controllable variables, I do. There was a point in this fitness journey where I truly did not understand, way before my master's, where I truly did not understand, fat and what it was doing to personally for me, for inflammation and my gut issues. And so I was like, oh, avocados are healthy, eggs are healthy. So therefore my breakfast when I'm on vacation can be, a piece of toast with avocado and a hard boiled egg. Well, the reality of that is that, yeah, I was getting some protein, but I was getting a ton of fat. And the issue with all of that fat is that it was kind of hurting my gut. But on top of that, the dinners that I was having or the lunch or whatever that I was having was also high fatty content foods, because we would be going out to restaurants and typically there's a lot of oil and or butter associated with that. They're not using super lean cuts of protein like chicken breast or, 93% ground beef or, whatever. Nor did I truly understand certain elements of lean cuts of protein or certain elements of different fruits and vegetables. And so I've really taken the time to refine that and understand that. And now truly I make that adjustment when on vacation. So, a couple of weeks ago, we went on my bachelorette party and we went to Sam's Club and we bought a bunch of stuff, but we bought whole grain bread and whole grain, English muffins, and we bought bananas and raspberries, and we bought, deli meats that were kind of leaner, like ham and turkey, and we bought protein shakes, like the Fairlife protein shakes, and like we had a resource of really healthy foods in the house. So in that way, we had those options. We had tomatoes and avocados and all these different things, because that's stuff that's enjoyed by everybody. And if we're making ourselves lunches to go to the beach, we don't necessarily have to make these, bad lunches, I guess, these lunches that we didn't enjoy, just to then go out to eat or go to breakfast or whatever to have things that we didn't necessarily enjoy. These are different types of things that you can incorporate to make sure that you are doing what's best for your body. Like when you go on vacation, there's nothing wrong with going to the grocery store and buying a bunch of fruit for you to have throughout the week as a snack, rather than, going to the convenience store and buying something processed. Or, there's nothing wrong with you packing a mason jar full of scoops of protein for you to put in your coffee in the morning to make sure that you're having, ample amounts of protein throughout the day, or just a little bit of supplemental protein throughout the day, because the way that your days are going to line up, you're probably not going to have a lot of protein. I say all of these things and I give you all of these tips to take on vacation, knowing farewell that likely you're sitting there conflicted because maybe you're the only one on this journey in your family or going on that vacation, and you don't want to feel like a burden. But you don't have to make yourself feel like a burden. You can advocate for the things that you like. Like anytime we go out to dinner, for the most part, I will find something to eat. But typically, like if somebody suggests a menu that is almost 100% fried, I will advocate not to go to that place because, one, I don't like fried food. I don't know. I am a weirdo. I know most people are like, what do you mean you don't like fried food? I'm very particular about my fried food. And like, if I order wings and they put it in the fryer, like I'm upset and I'm probably not eating them because I'm so particular. So like, I don't want to put myself in a situation to go to a restaurant where now I'm going to eat things that not only are not great for me, beyond the calories, but literally that high fat content that's not good for my personal digestive system. And then on top of that, I'm not going to enjoy it. So now I'm spending money and putting myself in a situation to be uncomfortable in a lot of different ways, rather than just setting the boundary and being like, I'm down to go to dinner, but like, can we try to find it somewhere else? And sometimes there is nowhere else and like you just have to eat it, but at the time there's going to be somewhere else. And just making sure that you advocate for yourself in some way, shape, or form. Like I also remember going to this bachelorette party where we were drinking and we were supposed to go out to dinner, and it was like literally 7:30 at night. And we get to this place and we realized it was all fried food, nothing to eat, whatever. And so everyone was kind of unhappy with the menu, but we were still ordering first, second, third rounds of drinks. So at some point, I just like advocated for myself and I was like, I don't mean to be annoying, but like, are we getting dinner here or are we going somewhere else? Because I can't keep drinking without putting some food in my body. And there was definitely some turmoil, I would say, that people looked at me like, oh, she's being difficult. And yeah, maybe in that moment I was being a little difficult. But at the same time, like if I did not eat anything and I kept drinking, or I just stood there, I would be hangry and or blackout drunk, and nobody wants either of those things, let me tell you. I'm just kidding. But there are times where you can advocate for yourself, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a burden. I feel really compelled to talk about this because, again, I feel like it's the societal pressure and just like Instagram and like all these different things, and like the people that make subtle comments in your life that you care about, that stop people from actually trying to transform their lives and change their lives and, be different. And I think it's really important to address it, because if you're constantly so scared of the societal pressure to do what you think is the right thing to do, or do, what you feel like is that learned behavior, then you're not really going to achieve your goals, because you're always going to be putting yourself, your goals, and everything you want in the back seat of what you think other people think of you and what you should be doing. And again, you're in the driver's seat of that. Like, you do not have to succumb to that. You can advocate for yourself, your wants, your needs, without necessarily being a burden. And honestly, a lot of the times, like, just being like, hey, can we stop by the grocery store so I can get some fruit? A lot of people might be like, that's weird, but okay. Like, people aren't really going to think twice. And if you explain, like, yeah, I just want to make sure I have some fruit to snack on to get some like fiber and make sure I have some snacks so I'm not hangry, whatever. People oftentimes will be like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that too. Like, a lot of the times we think that we are so alone in certain circumstances and we're so scared of rocking the boat that we forget that sometimes us wanting to push for some sort of change is actually driving change or motivating someone else to follow suit. And when you have more people that are on the same path as you, it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to be doing what it is that you're doing. So I feel like I've been a little bit redundant in everything. So just like to wrap it all up, when you're going throughout your summer and you're at a barbecue or you're on vacation or whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with being prepared and having a protein shake or, choosing higher protein options and being a little bit more skimpy on dessert and having fruits and vegetables as snacks and having whole grains for your meals. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of the times that pressure that you're feeling that other people are judging you for trying to be healthy or eating healthy, a lot of the times that's in your head and you can get around that by just pushing yourself into that uncomfortable position, making the decision, going forward with it. And most of the times you'll find that people may make a small comment or they might be motivated to follow suit, which would actually then just make you feel better because not only are you getting what you want, but you're actually motivating people to also be a little bit healthier or giving them the platform to be like, oh, I'm so glad she suggested that. I would want that too. And your options are to either follow that or to be unhappy because you can't make those decisions or you're not putting your boundary there to do that. And then further being unhappy because you're not being consistent with your goals and your progress. So I leave you with this. This is your reminder that societal pressure is something that you kind of like, it's learned behavior and you have the option to change that. I hope this was helpful and you got something out of it. I'll catch you next week.